Ask most any mom, and she'll say protecting her child is her top priority, but when does mothering slip into smothering? Today, ways to let go and help your kids fly, if you will, on their own. Family researcher and BYU instructor Heather Johnson is joining me. I need this conversation good and early. I have a feeling this is an area where I'm really getting to be consciously aware of my mothering efforts. Is it a common trap to fall into?
Absolutely, and especially right now where we're about, we've been with our children so much over the summer and we're about ready to send them back into the throes of it.
Yes.
It gets a little anxious. We get a little nervous. It's kind of scary.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty, but is there an overarching theme, an overarching secret or key to keeping that balance, mothering versus smothering?
Oh, yes. You know what? We've fallen into this parenting practice where we're concerned with providing supervised exercise, supervised play, supervised social situations.
Don't you dare sit on that couch unless I'm by your side.
We need to offer freedom. It's that simple. If you want to make a mental shift right off the bat, make it about freedom. We want to offer freedom. Let our kids be bored, give them the freedom to figure out how to not be bored. Let them have problems and give them the freedom to solve them themselves. Just literally put them in social situations, not set them up to fail. That's not what we're talking about. But allow them the freedom to navigate what it looks like to meet a new person and make a new friend instead of hovering and supervising.
Well, what are the consequences, Heather, of taking away that freedom you described?
They have no ability to navigate their own experiences or situations. They don't trust themselves. And that's not just to make decisions. They don't trust that they can make decisions. They don't know how to trust their own bodies. They don't know how to trust their own instinct. They don't feel comfortable in any situation knowing that they could handle it. And so they start to deal with a lot of anxiety, which is coming from fear, which will kind of come full circle to. But those are terrible things to set our kids up for just because we're trying to protect them so much.
Is there a big loud line that we cross when we go from mothering to smothering, or is it more in the subtleties?
It's very much in the subtleties. It's not like I wish it was a big red line and we're like 1 foot, 1 foot. It's not. It's when we decide to start protecting them from danger instead of preparing them to live. And so whenever we're coming from a standpoint where we're constantly looking, how do I protect you from danger? We've now crossed that line. We need to be thinking, how do I prepare you for life? How do I prepare you to live? And the cool thing is when we're prepared to live, we're prepared to protect ourselves from danger. And that's about freedom, and that's the beauty of it. So it's not just us, it's really giving them the freedom to say, wait a second, I know what it's like to protect myself. I know what I can do because I'm prepared. I'm prepared for what life might look like.
But it's flipping our intention on its underbelly.
It is. It's really turning it the other way. Don't protect from danger, prepare to live. And the first way we can start doing that is to stop focusing so much on the unlikely dangers. It's so funny. We as parents, our second greatest fear for our kids when we look at research is that strangers will hurt or take our children. Granted, that's a logical fear, but the fact is we place so much energy and emphasis on the unlikely that we forget about what will happen to them. We forget about preparing them for what is going to happen.
They will go to college. They will meet a stranger.
It's exactly right. And so we want to stop worrying about the unlikely. So let's take that example. I am much more likely to hurt my own children in a car accident driving them to school than they are to be approached or hurt by a stranger. It's very unlikely that will happen. Do they need to be prepared to live in a situation with that? Yes. But do I want them to live feeling they're protected from danger so that it's always imminent? No. So when we look at this one, for a long time we've taught stranger danger. I remember a grandparent of a friend once telling me what a stranger or a dangerous person should look like. Anyone with tattoos was dangerous. And I remember going home to my parents and saying, we know a lot of people who have tattoos. Are they dangerous? It's very confusing. So if we want to prepare them to live, when we look at unlikely dangers, we should be teaching our kids what appropriate behavior between adults and children looks like. We should be teaching our children what a trustworthy individual looks like. What does a trustworthy adult do? How do they act? How would they talk to you? We want them to be able to recognize inappropriate behavior, right? That is how we prepare them to live. And I don't know about you, but I need to know who's trustworthy as an adult, just like I did as a child. And so we're preparing them. So stop worrying about the unlikely as much. Prepare them for life, and then instead focus on what's likely.
So the skills that you're teaching them or emphasizing to your children are focused on those more likely situations.
It's exactly right. Our kids will fall on the playground. That is going to happen. Our kids will be bullied. That is going to happen. Our kids will face a cyber situation where they're either bullied online or need to know how to stay safe online or approached in inappropriate. Those things guaranteed are going to happen to our kids. That's where our energy and effort needs to go.
You want parents to loosen our grip, and I I like that because it paints a good picture for me in particular, but how does that really apply on the day-to-day with like toddlers, for example, or grade school kids?
Sure, and it goes all the way up. It's letting go. So a couple silly examples. At 3, our daughter, who's now 6, loved toast and wanted to butter it herself. Well, I don't want our 3-year-old to have a knife. So I needed to find a way for her to explore and learn where I felt safe too. So we gave her a plastic knife. And she messed up a couple times. And now she's 6 and has a real knife and makes her own toast every morning. And so in giving up my control, not only did she gain control over her own life, but I gained a lot more control because I don't have to make that for her anytime she wants it. I don't have to get kids drinks until they're 8 because we allowed them to explore and figure that out themselves. Playgrounds are a really good one. We go to playgrounds and we see the moms just hovering, just ready to catch
Guilty.
it.
I'm so guilty of that.
At any instant. And really we should understand if we're going to put them on that playground, we've got to let them explore what it would be like to navigate it.
You've got to accept that inherent risk.
It's exactly right. And know that luckily it's very low, but they'll start to learn how hard do I actually have to hold on to that monkey bar to stay here?
Yeah.
And how steep are those stairs? And let them explore and then feel confident in their own abilities.
In so many scenarios, as you paint out these situations from small to big, we're letting our fear rule our parenting decisions, aren't we?
All the time. And we want to trade out that fear for the freedom. And think of it that way. Swap your fear for freedom. Fear, kind of by loose definition, is when we over-exaggerate a negative in a situation and underestimate our ability to handle it. And so if we're parenting that way, where we're constantly over-exaggerating how dangerous or risky something is to our kids,
That's a good definition, yeah.
and instead underestimating our children's ability to deal with it, it's going to do them a disservice and us too. So we want to put them in situations, obviously, you know, knowing their abilities and their skills, but that push them a little bit, that challenge them, and swap the fear for the freedom. Give everyone control. It's really a cool thing once we start to see it happen.
It's interesting the society we live in now, and there have been so many great advancements towards safety, right, and nurturing, but we're even almost, like you're even almost qualifying yourself, oh yes, of course, teach them the safety skills, but let them go. We almost feel the need to jump in and justify what we're doing.
Absolutely, and we don't need to. I don't love our children more because I allow them that freedom, and that's kind of where we start to criticize ourselves. We saw this summer. We actually 3 weeks ago sent our 2 oldest, 15 and 12, to California by themselves on a plane to a swim camp. They had to manage money, manage airports, manage transportation, be on time. And it's so cool because our 12-year-old just came home and she starts junior high school this week. And when she left for California, she was scared about making new friends, about knowing how to find classes. And she came back from the freedom of that experience for a week, and there's no fear. She's not afraid of those new situations. She feels in control. She knows how to handle and navigate and do it. And only happened because we were willing to give her that freedom. And was it scary? Yeah. Did I worry every day, all day? Okay, are they on time? Do they know?
Where are they?
I did, but they went. And they came back stronger and healthier because of it.
She likely gained confidence. I love that example. She likely gained confidence because of the confidence you placed in her. They pick up on those vibes from us more than we realize, don't they?
Absolutely. If we feel they can do it, then they go out feeling like they can do it. So at least they can go, well, mom thinks I can handle that, so let's see what it looks like.
Whenever we talk about topics like this and I reflect on my own mothering style, I find myself so grateful for that father-mother partnership because Mark is so good about this. He's so good about letting Emmy advance, right?
Oh,
to the
yeah.
next slide at the playground or whatever it may be. But I think there's a good balance there if one parent can kind of take the lead.
For sure. And we find the same. My husband's like, they'll be fine in an airport.
Fine.
And I'm like, they have to manage documents and security. And he's like, they'll be.
They've got it.
And they are. And he's usually right. And the more I kind of let go, the better off we all are. So it's a great thing.
Awesome.
It's a great thing.
Awesome conversation. Thank you so much, especially with back to school happening.
It is.
It's a great time to approach it. And you often offer counseling and advice to couples and families for your private business?
Yeah, any information is online. Just go to the Studio 5 website and you can find it there.
We'll do it, Heather. Thank you so much.